Imagine taking an Ancestry DNA test just for fun and discovering that your biological father is not your father. That's exactly what happened to our client, Alina, and that's what brought her to DNAngels. My name's Tara Crawford. I'm a volunteer search angel for DNAngels. Now, Alina, just out of curiosity, she wanted to expand her tree and possibly make new family connections. That's when she took her AncestryDNA test. And when she got her results, she noticed that she did not recognize any of the paternal names at all. So when that happened, she reached out to her father, who's listed on her birth certificate, to take an AncestryDNA test as well. When his results came in, it was undeniable that he was not her biological father. They did not match each other. And when Alina presented this to her mom, she was persistent and insisted that he was her biological father. As time passed, her mom did provide some additional names, but unfortunately, the DNA did not connect to any of those candidates. After working her case, low matches, groups not connecting, the angel that had worked on it had to unfortunately place her case on hold. It could not be solved at that time. After about 6 months, maybe longer, I was given the opportunity to be a fresh set of eyes to take a second look at her case and hopefully maybe make some progress. Now, when I got in and started digging, I noticed that she did have 2 predominant paternal groups. One of them, the top match was 350 centimorgans, a pretty good group. I could confirm that this group connected to a Ferguson family. The second group, the matches were a little low 200s and below, but I could identify that this family line connected to the Davis family. But I had a problem. I could not connect the Davis family to the Ferguson. There were no children, no marriages, no common ancestor that could explain both groups. So we were stuck. Alina wanted answers and so did I. So she pushed on her mom a little bit more. Her mom then provided 5 additional names, 5 more possible candidates. Each name we built a tree out, but again, no connections to any of the DNA matches. They did not connect to Ferguson. They did not connect to Davis. Nothing. So we kept searching. 6 months passed. We're still stuck. No progress. No new matches. Nothing's coming in. But then I noticed something. I did have a small cluster of matches that I had labeled yellow. So I'll call them my yellow group. There was only 5 matches. The top one, 138 centimorgans, not much. So too small to be a main clue, but something told me that I should kind of deep dive into this. Don't ignore it. So I began building out the trees to these matches, and I could connect them all to one family. Their last name is Palm. Something else that I noticed is that they were from the same small southern town as the Fergusons. So maybe this is my missing connection. I still can't connect this Palm and Ferguson. They're in the same area. There's no marriages. So I need to try something different. This was a small southern town, and the area that Alina was born in was a pretty big area, a big city, a big town, a big state. So the Davis family was living in the same area that Alina was born in. So I thought, maybe why don't I search this small town, this cluster, and see if somebody left this area and went up to the same area that Alina and the Davis family was residing in. And I found one person, only one person left that area, and we're gonna call her Mary. Mary was using the last name Palm. So she was using her maternal last name, and there actually was no sign of a father in her life that I could find. I searched census records, her mother, I couldn't find a marriage record. So this young Mary Palm is raised by her mother and is using her mother's last name. Mary married a man with the last name Sampson. And they had 2 sons, and this happened in the same exact area that the Davis family was living and also where Alina's mother is from. So Mr. Sampson is on the birth certificate for her 2 sons. Their names William and Gerald. There's a marriage record confirming Mr. Sampson. So I know this is a legit family. But something else that I noticed about Mary, when her sons were grown adults, she marries again. And at this point, she's not in childbearing age, but she gets married to a man named Larry Davis. And Larry Davis connects to my second paternal group, the Davises. So I've got a marriage now. Mary Palm is that yellow group, and it's connecting to the Davis family. Also, something else that I noticed that stood out to me is when she married Mr. Davis, her maiden name wasn't Palm in the records. It was Ferguson. So something is going off here. So if she's truly a Ferguson, I've just found the connection between all three families. She connects Fergusons to the Palms, and they connect to the Davises through this marriage, but there's no children because her sons Gerald and William appear to be products of her first marriage. So this isn't really adding up, and the only thing we can do now is speak to somebody in the family. So we tried to track down her sons, but we didn't have any luck, so we decided to go down one more generation. We did find Mary had a granddaughter, and she had an ancestry tree that was public that I could see where she had listed Mary as her grandmother. She was very easy to find. She had a common name, and lucky for us, she worked in the beauty industry, and I found her phone number posted online. So I went ahead and I just sent her a text. It was very vague. I just explained to her that I was helping somebody build a family tree, and I needed help with her grandmother's history. And to my surprise, she wrote back. She said, "Can we talk on the phone?" So I was excited. I called her. She was kind, curious, and willing to help. I asked if Mary and Larry Davis had any biological children together. She said yes. Her father, Gerald, and his brother, William, were the sons of Mary and her second husband. At the time, I believe is her second husband, Mr. Larry Davis. So why are they using the Sampson last name then? That's her first husband. That's when she explained to me that her grandfather, Larry Davis, had tried to avoid a debt, and he forged his name in his earlier years. So Larry Davis and Mr. Sampson are the same person. So now the surname confusion all makes sense, and I have now officially linked all my DNA groups together. Mary, her two sons that she had with Mr. Sampson, but Mr. Sampson is actually Mr. Davis. I've got two candidates for birth fathers, biological fathers, and it's either Gerald or William. So since Mary's granddaughter, who's Gerald's daughter, was so helpful, she went ahead and reached out to her own father, asking if he remembered Alina's mother, but he didn't, not at first. But then he thought about it all night long, he said. Something triggered his memory. He couldn't stop thinking about it, where he actually knew a girl that had the same name as Alina's mother. He remembered her street. He remembered her car. They did know each other. But there was one problem. Alina's mom still didn't remember him. She's still somewhat adamant that the man on the birth certificate is actually her father. She has no memory of Mr. Gerald. And when he found out about that, he was actually disappointed because he felt that they had a connection together, a real relationship, and it actually hurt him that she didn't recall him. So we kind of in a little dilemma. We actually need to get somebody to test. And since Mary's granddaughter was so helpful in our first contact, I went ahead and I just sent her an AncestryDNA test directly. She agreed to take one. So maybe 6 weeks later, maybe a little longer, it felt like forever because we were waiting, and it had taken so long to get to this point to even find somebody to take that test. Results were in, and Mary's granddaughter was Alina's half sister. Jerry was her father. This confirmed it. And the best part of all, Jerry was thrilled. He tried getting in contact with Alina right away. But at this time, he's actually living in a nursing facility. His health isn't the best, but he told all the nurses that his daughter was coming to meet him. He was thrilled. And in his downtime, he's very artistic because he was creating photoshopped pictures of what they would have looked like as a family. He had a picture of Alina, he had a picture of her mother, and he put them all together, traveling around with different backgrounds as a family, just imagining them all together. So when Alina went to meet him at the nursing facility where he was living, she brought her mother, and at this point, memories came back for her mother, and she was able to remember him now, finally, also. So this gave Alina all the answers that she had hoped for. It was a really long journey. Her mom didn't remember, and at first he didn't remember her, but then it all came back. And with that confirmed DNA test, half-sister, we knew we found her father. It's been actually a little over a year since we have made this discovery, and I did want to check in with Alina and find out how things were going for her. And what she's told me is that the relationship with her sisters hasn't really moved forward, but her and her father, her new biological father, she still has a relationship with her birth certificate father, but their bond is slowly growing and full of hope. And it's been a really positive experience for her and a long journey. So just keep in mind that a DNA surprise, they're not always easy, but sometimes they lead you exactly to where you were meant to be. So let's drop some purple hearts for Alina and her journey and finding her biological truth. If you find yourself in a DNA surprise, please reach out to us. We never charge for identifying a biological parent. You can go to our website, DNAngels.org, and let's see if we can help you.